Greetings, Level 3 Computer Hardware and Software students. Our exam is around the corner. It's getting closer each and every day. We have seen our performance during the internal examinations. Some of the questions we did not do so well. So I'm just going to highlight some of the things just to help us in revising. This is not a complete lecture, but it's just a revision session to touch on some corners of the syllabus which we need to prepare for the exam that is coming up beginning of November. So once again, welcome and thank you for downloading this revision video. This video is going to be 15 minutes or so, and then we go on to storage devices. So I'm just going to start with hardware components or computer components as we discussed in class. This discussion will be divided into roughly those topics. The first topic, I'm going to talk section A and section B, personal computer basics and microprocessors and memory. And then I stop there, and then we go on to talk to storage devices on its own. And then I stop, then I go on to talk to the last part, input and output devices and hardware security. So we are going to have 3 short revision videos just to help us revise. This is a very important chapter or very important topic, computer hardware. Even during the internal examination, some of you could not give me a good definition of computer hardware. I was very surprised that at this time of the year, a computer hardware student can still struggle to give me a definition of a computer hardware. Most of you did well on that one, but there are a few who struggled a little bit. So people, let's put our house in order. Let's go sit with our books and polish up. So personal computer basics. What are personal computers? The name personal means that this computer is used by a single user at a time. It's operated by a single user at a time. Just like the computers in our computer labs, it's one student per computer at a time. Then desktop computers and portable computers. Desktop simply means the computer, you cannot use it while you're holding it in your hands. It has got to be resting on a desk or somewhere. Honestly, there are computers which you can't walk around. Imagine those computers in the labs. You'll be walking around the college. Operating it is not possible. You have to put it on a desk so that you can plug it onto a power socket. That's why it's called a desktop computer. Then portable computers means these ones now, more or less, you can move around with them. Most of them, portable computers, are powered by a battery, a storage battery. You can power them from the socket in the wall, or you can use a battery, which means you can move around with them. That's why they are called portable computers. They come in a variety of ways, from laptops, notebooks, tablets, smartphones, iPhones, etc., etc. There are so many of them, handheld, GPS systems, and so forth. Then in the same category of personal computers, we have home systems, we have media, like portable stereo systems, we've got game consoles at home, and on the top end we've got small business systems which are used to power some businesses. Even here at the college there, when you go to buy your lunch, there's a small computer there, a touchscreen computer there, where they enter your menu and they give you a ticket or they give you a receipt. All those are small business systems. They all fall under this personal computer family. Then finally, we're just going to quickly talk about buying computer systems. Why? Because people see us in the computer industry as knowledgeable. So they'll come asking for advice, and they'll come to consult us when they want to buy. They even say, let's go together so that you help me buy the right computer. We are supposed to be abreast with what is happening in our industry so that we can be useful and we can really play our part as computer technicians. So people, this is the basic layout. You may think you know it, you may think you have seen it many times. It helps just to recap, to make sure you know what each and every part is doing there. Don't assume that since you have managed to repair 1 or 2 faults, now you know all of it. You may be surprised. These things, they come in the exam and you can't remember what this part is. You know the part, but you can't remember what this part is. I've seen it even in the internal examination. Some simple parts that were there, people were finding it difficult to remember their correct names, let alone their functions. So let's revise such things which we think are easy. Let's just go through them so that we won't get surprises in the exam. Desktop and portable computers. Remember, on desktops, we emphasized on the form factor and says the form factor speaks to what you can buy, what type of motherboard can go into that box or computer system or system unit. If you don't know the form factor of your computer, you may end up buying the wrong components, and that is not going to be good because it's money gone. They are just here comparing a portable computer, a small, lightweight, and personal computer. A notebook computer, also referred to as a laptop, is a small, lightweight, portable computer. Then a tablet, and then an ultra mobile. Here they are just talking about cell phones, smartphones, there are so many of them. There are so many of them. Just call them ultra mobile PCs. Your cell phone is an example of a PC. So just take that in mind. Then desktop and portable. People, slowly but surely, the world is moving into more portable computers. We are moving away from those big desktop computers into more portable computers. Then on the other side, in the home, we have home computers, we've got media, we've got game and small business systems. Why are we mentioning this? Go back 20 years ago or so, the computer was hardly found at home. The computer was found in big, powerful companies, in very rich offices. That's where you would find computers. Even in some of our government institutions, computers were not there. But of late, computers have found themselves at home. What are they doing at home? At home, they are being used for entertainment. The media center, even our TV nowadays, they are encouraging us to buy smart TV, which you can use to go on the internet, open your email, go to YouTube, go to Netflix, go to Showmax, using your remote, sitting on your sofa, and that's how far computers have gone. They've gone into our dining rooms, they've gone into our fridges, they've gone into our microwave, they've gone into our bedrooms, they've gone into our security systems. So media centers are at the center of our entertainment at home. Some of them, they even use Windows software. And we have some computers which are for gaming. You buy it not for doing schoolwork, but just for gaming. And they are very expensive. But that is where the world is going. We are going more and more into computers because the world is going there. We are in the 21st century. And if you think we might go back to those old days, you'll be taken for a surprise. So also small businesses are slowly or quickly beginning to realize the benefit of computerizing. So they are also coming up with middle of the range computers to computerize the businesses. Such an extent that even those who are selling food are using a computer. So buying computer system components, remember I said buying computers we are needed. Those are some of the points that you need to consider when you are buying computers. How much and you have in your pocket, and how is the computer going to be used for. There's no need in buying a high-end computer for a grade 8 student, for example, because it's a wastage of resources. For an a grade 8 student, you may need a basic computer which they can type, they can play games. Maybe you allow them to go on the internet, but you also have to do parental locking so that they don't go to those other harmful websites. And also you decide on whether you want to use a Mac or you want to use a PC. The difference between a Mac and a PC, Macintosh is Apple. It's Apple, based on Apple. Remember the iPhone, that is the range of the Mac, that is the same. And then the PC is the one that we can use Windows, we can put any other software, but on the Mac we have to put software aligned for the Macintosh. It's called a Macintosh. So it helps as a technician in your free time to subscribe. I used to subscribe to computer magazines when I was getting into computers. Why? I needed to have as much information and as much news about computers as possible. I needed to know what is the latest coming, what is the latest software, where are we going. It helps me to understand the computer jargon. You have to speak the jargon, guys. You have to speak the jargon. You have to speak the language of the computers. You cannot be in the computer industry and you don't speak the jargon. You have to be able to speak the terminologies. And then computers don't come cheap, unfortunately, so expect to pay when it comes to computers. So this is all advice on buying and upgrading a computer. It's not always the case that when you're having a desktop computer, you have to buy another one every 2 years. You can upgrade and still keep your computer for some time. Then microprocessors. The CPU is the biggest microprocessor in your computer. But there are so many other microprocessors that are found in your computer as well, that we are going just to highlight. And then we've got the RAM and also the ROM, and then we talk about the EEPROM. The processors, that is the CPU, is comprised of, remember, from level 2, arithmetic logic unit, you've got registers, you've got control unit, and you've got instruction sets on the CPU. I'm not going to go into detail on that one. Guys, let's go to our books and dig onto that one. Then the basics of microprocessors is that they work using buses and clocks. A clock is like a rhythm. When a clock comes, the processor takes data. When a clock comes, the processor releases data. When a clock comes, like that. So the faster the clock, the faster the processing speed of the computer. Word size speaks to how many bits do we need to form a character for that computer. In the early days, or in classroom, we say a character is made up of 8 bits. But some computers use 16, some use 14, some even use 32 or even 64. Those very powerful servers, they use 128 bits per character. So word size differs from computer to computer and from processor to processor. Then the cache, we have got the cache there. Guys, cache is an extension of RAM. It's where the computer stores information that it needs to process quickly. Cache makes your processor process things faster because the information is readily available, it's nearby. Then we've got the SCSI and the RISC there. Those technologies are very important. People, let's go in our books, let's research on those ones. We need to understand what SCSI is versus RISC. If I try to explain it now, It will take me another 10 minutes, which on this video, I don't want the video to be too long. I want to cover other areas. Then we have got processing, serial processing and parallel processing. Just as a tip, parallel processing is faster than serial processing. Serial processing, you are processing 1 bit at a time. In parallel processing, you process, if it is an 8-bit computer, you are processing 8 bits at the same time. But serial processing, you are clocking 1 bit at a time. So it's slower. It slows down the process. Serial processing is slower than parallel processing. Now, once you understand what parallel processing is, you understand what a dual-core processor does. It's 2 processors connected in parallel, which means that if one processor was processing 8 bits per clock or per second, if they are now combined in 2, they are now processing 16 bits. If you make them 4, it means 8 times 4, which is 32 bits. So you see, parallel processing makes processing faster. So dual-core processor is a way of pairing processors so that they process your information quicker using your processors. I wish I had more time, guys. I would go into detail, but I'm just highlighting these are things that you must research and dig deeper into. Then threading, it allows your computer to do one activity more than one activity simultaneously. You can be listening to the music on your computer. You can be typing on the same computer. You can be writing on a CD on the same computer. And you can be downloading movies. At the same time, you'll be printing some documents on the same computer. All this is called multi-threading. Hyper-threading is higher than multi-threading, which means you can do virtually 20 or 50 tasks on one computer. But you begin to notice that when the more the threads, they demand CPU time and the computer slows down. Guys, you have to go into the internet there and research today's processors. These are like 5 or 10 years old notes of these processors. Nowadays, they are there. They have got processors that are coming in every day. New things are coming. So you need to be abreast. Use your internet to keep abreast. Random access memory. Remember what we said about RAM. Very important, but it's still volatile. Random access memory, this is just, they are just explaining further how it works, capacitors, why is it volatile. When power goes, you lose the information about RAM. It is expressed in megabytes or gigabytes. So people, RAM is a very important part for you to master. And also RAM speed depends on the type of RAM. We've got different types of RAM, just like we have got different types of cars. Those with little money, they buy certain type of cars. Those with big bank accounts, they buy certain types of cars. The same thing with our computers and our RAM. If you are buying a very high-end computer, it means you are also putting more money on the RAM. If you are just buying a basic one for a student, it means you are putting lesser money into it. Then read-only memory, it's memory that is built on board the computer. You cannot, there's nothing you can do to it. You can't update it. You can't do anything. It comes like that, just like BIOS. But BIOS, it's a little bit more advanced. A ROM which is a little bit more advanced. We are going to see in the next slide. BIOS is a ROM which helps your computer to boot. But if you lose your battery, you lose all the memory of the EEPROM. People, I'm going to stop here for this first part. The next lesson will be on storage devices. So just keep watching. Another video is coming following this one, and we are going to talk about storage devices. This video is about 20 minutes long. I'm sure it helps you to revise some of the concepts. Thank you. See you in the next video.